Hey guys, how's it going? It's Etanios here. Welcome to episode number 30 of this NHL 22 Quebec Nordiques relocation franchise mode where we moved Arizona up north to Quebec City. If you guys have missed any episodes up to this point, head up into that top corner of the video to click the card to the playlist. And if you do enjoy this episode, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to never miss when I upload. But last episode, it has been a while since last episode, but we were able to get through the draft. We had a really decent draft as we were able to land what was a bunch of players. Like normally we don't land that many players in a draft, and we ended up taking a lot. And one of those players that actually isn't even in the team right now, which I do find a little ironic, is Uriel Wyman, who's going to be a fantastic defenseman for us eventually. In reverse, send it, yoink, shrug it off. Great X factor. He's going to be a really good defender. But he isn't even in the team. He's the only medium elite that isn't currently in our team, or even in the NHL, really, because that's where the majority of our medium elite players are at the current moment. But last episode was also titled Getting Younger, and that definitely shows through with our lineup now, as we don't have a forward over the age of 25, apart from Matt Barzal and Philip Forsberg, who are both on some veteran contracts for sure. They're getting paid a ton of money. 9.87 for Forsberg, and of course 9.43 for Barzal. Those guys obviously are set up in a fashion so that we can actually afford to pay guys such as Christian Tamarnes or Matthias Silvegaard in the upcoming season here. And now that I look at it, we probably should get some of these extensions done. First guy I'm going to look at is Marcel Legault. If we can get him again with the rule of 85, you guys I've had so many comments on it, and again, just to satisfy this question, you go 0.85 times whatever the asking price for the player is. So, Marcel Legault, 6.4 million. If you go 0.85 and then multiply that by 6.4 in your calculator, you're going to get a 5.44 deal. You're going to have to round up a little bit when you're actually doing this trick, but it's totally worth it. And, 5.44 is close enough to 5.45 that they should take that. And, well, we'll see if that happens. I'm going to offer this on what is a bunch of other guys here too. When you got a cheap player like Safronov, it's probably not worth doing the rule of 85 necessarily. You're sometimes going to get two-way contracts, but let's take a look at these big guns, obviously. The big guns being a guy like Tamarnes. He only wants 5.625. So if I put that into my calculator, 5.625 times 0.85, as you guys can see there, I just want to make sure that you guys can see that. Right there. Pretty simple calculation. You can see it down in the corner. I know my screen's probably too bright. Right, pretty simple calculation. I mean, I'll put it on the screen too probably, but if we do that, it gives us a $4.78 million contract. That's super cheap for a 90-plus rated player. So if we go 4.78, doesn't quite get it with 7.75, so we got to go 4.8 exactly. And man, if we get him for that cheap, my God, that is worth it. So we really only have $12 million to spend on extension dollars right now. I guess we do, so that's an issue. Especially with a guy like Desharnais, who's no way he only wants $2 million. Let's go. Okay, that's actually huge. Silvegaard we'll keep an eye on. I am going to have to probably end up trading a guy in the near future like Matt Barzal, simply because he's on, what is he on, a $9.45 million contract. We'll probably have to trade him to keep a player like Silvegaard around, because I would really like to. Silvegaard's been fantastic up to this point. So with all that in mind, I am going to adjust my lighting ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, so now you can see my face. I'm not shining off of you guys, but let's get to the regular season. Looks like we're going to get Desharnais, we're going to get Tamarnes, and we're going to get Safronov and Enroth and Marcel Legault. All right, so we get everybody except for Christian Tamarnes pretty much. Really nice, cheap, easy contracts, way cheaper than I was expecting. I was expecting some pretty big extensions this year, and well, I like where this team is at. I think we really have a good chance of, trying to win everything again. But I do want to just take a quick peek at the draft class before we get into the season sim. I mean, Easton Chevel-Dave looks pretty good, but it's kind of hard to tell with this first scouting report. You got to wait for all of these to come in December or so. McKinnon looks okay. Ooh, this guy, Nick Timmins. How you doing there, buddy? All right, keep an eye on him. He looks pretty good. All right, and apart from that, I think we are ready to go here. So All right, we're going to jump into the season sim. I'm going to see how this team does, and we're going to simulate up to the end of December. So up to December 31st there. We'll see how this team does, and I'll be back with you guys once the season sim kind of gets up to that point. Lucas Powell is not playing because he's 84 rated. Like, hello. 4 out of 5 for Georgievich. Damn, bro. No, this team is good. This is a good, solid all-around team. We got some high-end players in Bedard and Tamarines. We're still losing games, which I don't entirely enjoy. We probably shouldn't be, but Tatacek looks like a freaking monster. Man, if he's a two-way forward, I'm gonna want to draft him. 19 points in 23 games in like a men's league. That's freaking insane. Doesn't happen all that often. All right, guys. So up to December, which is where I got to do my next scouting report, we're currently sitting with a 20-13-1 record. It's not where I wanted to be. I was expecting this team to do better, and nobody's scoring. I just do not get this. And honestly, where's Bedard? Okay, at least he has 27 points this year. That's better than where I was expecting him to be, because he set the bar so freaking low. But at the same time, he hasn't really been that good. Like 382 points in 518 games is way below where he should be. Thorison's doing okay. Lander should be doing better probably too. But we've got guys scoring fairly. It's not fairly consistently. Shane Wright's half a point per game. Like, that's sad. Chychrun's only 15 points this season so far. Oh, man, this is rough. This is just a rough go. But the goalies were playing really hot. Mike Georgievich is definitely going to be getting more starts, just the way he's been playing. He is letting in more goals, but he's winning games as well. So I wonder if he's playing against the worst teams consistently. But with the sheer amount of assets that this Quebec Nordiques team has, I am very, very tempted. When looking at the upcoming draft class, we have a great player in Bedard. He's 91 rated, but Wyman's up to an 81 as well. He's going to be hard not to call up to the NHL, especially when we're having injuries with guys like Legault or Soderstrom, or like you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's pretty hard not to promote these guys when they're playing this well. Oh my God, Ned Patterson. He's killing it. Oh, man, he's on pace for like 100 and something points there. Apart from that, we have other wingers, guys like Muldean and, Crane could come up. Like, McMuffin's on his way up. There's more than enough assets in here that we could put together a really decent trade package that I assume would include a guy like Connor Bedard. But I haven't shown you guys yet because we just haven't gotten there in this episode. But the draft class does feature an extremely nice looking sniping center in Oldrich Tatacek. He is like A+ across the board pretty much. 3 out of his 6 categories are A+. Sure, he lacks size. Sure, he's small. He doesn't have as much reach. But like shooting, skating, puck skills, that is a sniper that you're just never going to see very often in a franchise mode in general. I'm tempted as hell to put a package together for whoever wins the lottery. Mainly because, well, Connor Bedard is not scoring at the pace I want him to be. He's supposed to be our franchise player. Sure, he went 2nd overall behind Shane Wright. But, like, I seriously have this urge to disassemble the core of this team based on the performance that they put up on a regular basis throughout the season. And I know that's bad. Ooh, Nick Timmins looks good too. But I know that sounds bad as the manager, but you guys that have actually been watching this series for a while can feel my struggle and can feel my frustration that I experience with this team when a 33-year-old Matt Barzal is putting up more points than a 24-year-old Connor Bedard. Like, that just doesn't make sense in my mind. But, we're not sitting that terribly right now as far as the standings go. You look at the entirety of the league, and well, we're not quite there. We're currently sitting 13th. Okay, so we're in a playoff spot. We're not in a great playoff spot, to be completely honest. And it's funny because last year, it was the exact same kind of story. We finished 18th, but we qualified for the playoffs and went on to win the cup. Like, it never should happen like that, but it does. So I mean, who's the worst looking team in the league right now? The Isles. Okay. Boston, Winnipeg, Florida, Washington all in the bottom 5 as well. So keep an eye on those guys because we might be putting a trade package together here eventually. And a guy like Matt Barzal, he is outperforming all our other star players, which is disappointing in my mind. But I think if we could probably start fresh here, start new with a guy like Oldrich Tadachek, that would be good. But anyways, I'm going to get back to some scouting here nice and quick. I'll be back with you guys when we jump back into the calendar sim. And that's kind of the game plan we're working with heading towards this the end of this upcoming season. Okay, that was a lot of scouting. All right, so we're back, and I've done way too much scouting, but that's okay. So we're going to go all the way up to, I'm going to say the beginning of March, so just before the trade deadline where we very well might make a move. But Philip Forsberg is back in the lineup, which is a good thing. Tamarnis has dropped, which is not good. So yeah, the team's in a interesting / dicey spot. So I think I'm going to try Shane Wright on some first line minutes, see if they can get things rolling, because like I said, just hasn't been good enough. Can't wait for Legault to get back because that second defensive pairing looks a little bit rough right now. It is 2 offensive defensemen as well, so I'm wondering, can we balance this? Yeah, let's do that just for now. Okay, so Seth Staubitz is back. Great, okay. We need wins. We need a lot of wins. All right, so we are yet again at the 60-game mark here. Matt Barzal's got 53 points in 61 games, and it's just, like I've said, it's disappointing. This team should be doing better. Connor Bedard's actually started to play a little bit better on the second line. But that's the thing is, like, it'd be a little different if I had the sim engine scoring on medium, but that's the thing is I don't. I have it on high, and it's, like, oh man, it's disappointing. Yeah, we're gonna, maybe I'm gonna move the sim engine scoring to medium, and I'm gonna put the shot frequency to high because I don't know what else to do here. So this is just, oh my god, this is just atrocious. So all right, that's where we're at. We're currently sitting out of a playoff spot now. I bet you we've moved down to about 18th. That would be my guess. And Vancouver leads the league, 40 wins. I mean, Vancouver, Buffalo are both right there. Yep, 18th. Did I just call that or what? Oh boy. Okay, so Boston, Islanders, Tampa. Ooh, Tampa moves a lot further down than I was expecting. They've still got a half decent team there. So, okay. But yeah, Seattle's down there. Florida or Carolina is down there as well. Teams that probably shouldn't be, but they are. And yeah, our team's nothing special at all. The goalies have again been below average. I'm gonna swap Georgievich and Dagenais here because this is just, it's just not good enough. Or Desharnais, sorry, Dagenais, Desharnais, same, close enough. But yeah, this is just not great. So we're gonna wrap up the season here, but man, like my god, it's just been bad. I think we are gonna make a Matt Barzal trade too. I'm gonna see what I can find for him because we're coming up to the trade deadline, and he's honestly one of our best players. He probably is our single-handedly best player, but like any Connor Bedard trades, nothing. What about Chychrun? Anything, nothing. That's great. Okay, so let's maybe go up to the trade deadline now and just see how this team does in the trade deadline because I want to try to make a trade, but we got 2 more games, and Islanders and Canadians should be wins, and they're not. Like, we're going to lose to them. That's just, well, at least we beat one of them. Okay, and keep our current trade block. Let's enter the trade deadline here because I can't do this, man. This has just been terrible. So, DeBrincat probably would be pretty good. How about what's his name here? Holden Banks is only 25. We could potentially make a trade for Holden Banks. That might not be so bad, but the Kraken are terrible as well. So if he's a forward line 4 fit, that's not great. They want a top 2 defenseman. I mean, obviously I could offer Wyman, but I don't think that's the right move. They'd like any of our defensemen here. Any chance we could go Soderstrom plus Matt Barzal. They'd have too many skaters. All right. Who else is huge contracts with no value on this team? Gabriel Landeskog. That could work. That could definitely work. Okay, let's do this. All right. I know it's a big trade. We're gonna bring Uriel Wyman up, so that is the kind of X factor in this trade. We're gonna get a guy like Banks. We get Landeskog as well, who is a really good forward. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with this. Unless I would like Landeskog, but unless there's like a bigger contract that's not gonna play for our team, like Trouba. Yeah, maybe we take on Trouba instead. That might be better. And you know what? Hey, let's try it. Let's just try it. Seattle, I want your pick in this draft. Let's do it. So we'll swap you 1 for 1. Watch our draft pick end up winning the lottery. That would be absolutely hilarious. But okay, Banks, Trouba, and the first rounder in exchange for our first rounder, Barzal and Soderstrom. I think that's a pretty darn decent trade for the Seattle Kraken, and I think it's actually going to work out in our favor too. So let's do it, and they take it without question. So honestly, I'm pretty happy with that trade. That's the only move we're going to make. It brings in a different style of winger to play up on that first line with Shane Wright, and I think that's the right move. Obviously, that's just a huge trade deadline move. But yeah, on, March 6th, that's just a huge deal. All right, so we are going to head down into the system. We're going to give Uriel Wyman a contract. Do we literally not have enough money to pay for his contract? We don't have enough salary to pay him. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah, that's really funny, actually. And I do think, who's the better player? I mean, Banks is probably the better player, but Silvegaard looks, Silvegaard's still a good player, though. He's just smaller. That's the only thing, right? Is Holden Banks is definitely, like, not a point per game player, but he's been a good player. And he was, what, a 4th overall pick? Yeah. Ooh, that's rough. Okay. Lucas Powell, Grayson Ortiz are also big names. And do we have any big contracts in the system here? Not really. Definitely not. Okay. Our goalies are quite cheap too. I think it's literally just that Trouba contract, to be honest. Yeah, Trouba's fairly expensive, so. Okay, so we can't actually sign Wyman. That makes it a little bit more difficult, unfortunately, because I was totally expecting him to roll in here and make a difference, and that probably isn't going to be the case. So let's move, I guess, Safronov down. Well, we can at least get +3s on both our defensive pairings, so that's actually pretty good. I'm okay with that, and yeah. All right, it's not ideal, but we needed to change something up. We needed to shake things up a bit. So now that the trade deadline's over, I'm going to sim to the end of the season. We're going to see where we end up. I would be betting against the Quebec Nordiques at this point, but Bruins are firing their coach. There's lots of teams that are probably going to be making some changes, so we'll see how we do. All right, guys, so to wrap up this regular season, Connor Bedard actually puts up 71 points, so that's not that terrible. No idea where we finished, to be honest, but our team actually did okay. 71 points is a lot higher than last year, which was 63 was our best. We finished with 95 points, just barely qualified for the playoffs, but, we're not done yet. But I don't think any other teams can really beat us there. Oh my god, we were so far ahead in games, so There we go. Everybody's finally decided there. How did we place? I'm going to say we probably placed about 14th. And yeah, there were just a lot of better teams than us. We placed 12th. Okay, so not too shabby. Not spectacular, but not all that bad either. And I'm actually somewhat okay with the team's performance this year. And that is indeed the first time Connor Bedard has actually led this team in points in the how many seasons? Oh man, it's such a bad number. He's been playing for the Nordiques for 7 seasons, and it's the first time he actually leads the team in points. That's pretty sad. Yikes. Okay. 38 goals for Rickard Thorson seems to be the best number there out of the whole team. And yeah, it just wasn't really a great performance. Like a guy like Chychrun for $11.75 million, 38 points ain't worth it, man. It just isn't. And he was a -5 too for 25 minutes of ice time a game. Yikes, that's bad. Okay, so Safronov was obviously kind of the worst player. He got the least play time. 29 out of 60 for Desharnais is not good, and 17 out of 30 for Georgievich is a little bit better, but man, that was just a rough season overall. All right, for goalies for the entire league, Cal Pedersen wins 45. That's a pretty big number, especially for a guy that used to play on the Quebec Nordiques, right? Brutal. All right, so Peterson leads the league there. Samuel Girard, well done, 70 points. That's a big point total for Sammy there. I mean, there are, in my opinion, much better defensemen than Girard, but that's, yeah, wow, okay, really, really decent season from a lot of different defensemen. As far as rookies go, Gustav Tulipov, 22-year-old two-way forward, gets 59 points, beating out a guy like Zach Benson at 24 years old. And the only... yeah, Norm Eddy actually got beat out by his fellow St. Louis Blue, Martin Fairchild, there in points, which is quite funny because both of them are snipers, both of them score a lot. Eddy scored more goals, but just couldn't get the assists. Very interesting draft, or group of players there. Par Eriksson, man, we could have picked him up. He would have been fairly decent, but, no, we could have picked him up, but we almost had the opportunity to. Oh, Igor Valentenko. See, that's what a franchise player is supposed to look like. 68 goals and 49 assists for 117-point league leading. Come on, man. 68 goals. That's insane. Second best is McKinnon with 62, then DeBrincat with 58, Matthews with 57. Man, these guys can all put the puck in the net consistently. And, man, Coltonen definitely looks like a better player than Bedard right now, doesn't he, right? Your best assist guy was Mitch Marner with 68, and we did not have anybody anywhere near these numbers. Oh, man, Draper had 61 assists. Bro, he's a grinder, but he's 90 overall. Okay, to be fair, the Canadians actually have a pretty sick team, but there you have it. Francisco Hopkins as well for Detroit. Man, so many good players in this franchise mode that we don't have our hands on. So, that's the team's status. That's where we're going to wrap it up for this episode. It's been a while since we recorded and uploaded and did one of these. I'm also thinking, I almost knocked my controller off my lap. I'm also thinking about doing a rebuild series on this channel where we take teams, have 5 years to get on the cup, and do it all in one kind of video. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to go down below, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to never miss these uploads. And, well, hopefully the Nordiques can put together a decent playoff run again, considering they didn't really do all that well in the regular season. But that is it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time.